as an athlete, like I'm used to playing basketball in front of thousands of people, and people would like come and ask for autographs and stuff. So I'm not a shy person at all. Like you can't be that. You have to believe you are better than the next guy. So I was a confident guy always, and still it bothered me a lot. We had like a game that we won by a buzzer-beating shot. Somebody lifted that one guy up that made the shot, right? We like held them above our heads. And I obviously looked up towards him, right? And somebody took a picture from right behind me. Like on that picture, it like really looked to me, it looked like I didn't have any hair on the top of my head anymore. And I saw that and I said, nah, now I gotta get rid of it now. You do all kinds of different things, and whatever you do, you're basically worrying about it. I used to like really sit there and after every game and check through the pictures and just hope that nobody took a picture from behind. My name is Michael Hauke. First of all, I'm about 6'11" tall, which is like 2 meters and 10. So wherever I go, people look at me anyway. So even if I had the most beautiful hair, people would still look at me. I started playing basketball when I was, I don't know, let's say 12 years old. But I just fell in love with it. I started playing more and more. And then I went to like a special school. From there, I moved on to becoming like a professional basketball player in Germany, which is like, of course, some steps away from the NBA you were just talking about. But
Yeah.
I made a living off basketball for, I guess, a little more than 10 years.
Michael, let's touch on the hair then. When did you first notice that, you know, the hair was kind of going?
I was pretty young to be like that. It started like being like I really had like as a kid and stuff. Like first of all, my dad used to be bald as well, right? So he always used to kind of mock me a little bit and say, you know,
It's
that's where you're
coming.
going to end up as well.
Yeah.
And I always said to myself, and I always was wishing for it not to happen. Obviously, you know, as a kid or as like a young man, you get like, especially when you got the hair growing on the side, like my dad used to rock it, you know. You as a young person, for you it just looks like that's an old guy, right? So
Exactly.
and I never wanted to look that way. So and I started, you know, I guess even when I was like 25 4 something like this, it started, you know, a little receding hairline a little bit. You know, usually people have this right here where it gets less and less on the sides. For me it basically just, you know, went back in all. But for me, looking into the mirror, it still looked basically, you know, I could, you know, it was still, for me, it looked fine. But then at some point, I used to notice, you know, being an athlete, they take pictures of the games and all that stuff. And at some point, I just used to look at the pictures and I saw that, you know, I'm getting this bald spot right here, you know.
Right.
And which I don't really see for myself, like, cause you know, you see yourself from the front all the time. So, and I was shocked, you know, because
Yeah.
I saw it and I thought, oh my God, like it's really happening. And now, like, and then I started like really worrying about it. And that's just where I like kind of find myself in like a lot of the stories that I read and see on your Instagram page, because I guess the like psychology kind of works the same way in a lot of people, like the mind works the same. I used to like really sit there and after every game and check through the pictures and just hope that nobody took a picture from behind me, you know. And then like even then, like the lights in the gyms and the arenas, they make it even look worse. Like they make your hair look thinner than it actually is.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it like affected my career or anything. I mean, in the end, you never know. People might have seen you other teams and said, oh, like, and imagined you're older than you actually are. Like you're going to run into kids that expect you to be a lot older than you actually are because they just look at your hair and think they don't know, even young basketball players, and just and I tell them like I'm 28 or whatever, and they be like, oh really, you know,
Yeah.
you're not 50. Obviously I'm not 50, but you know,
Yeah.
so stuff like that. And I don't know, I would like in the end there was really like one day where I just looked at pictures from, and we had like a game that we won by a buzzer beating shot, which was really like a big thing, right? The whole arena was like going
Oh.
crazy. And then
Yeah.
we were like standing around as a team, and like somebody lifted that one guy up that made the shot, right? And we like held them above our heads. And I obviously looked up towards him, right? And somebody took a picture from right behind me, like
Right.
to all of us. And from like on that picture, it like really looked to me, it looked like I didn't have any hair on the top of my head anymore. This wasn't even the case, but it looked like this, right? And I saw that and I said, nah, now I got to get rid of it now. You know, I always thought that's why when I actually wrote you that text, because I heard somebody speak about that he was worried about the shape of his head, right?
Yeah.
I always was that too. Like when I can like, I don't know if I show you from the side, like my head is not shaped perfectly or nothing, you know, in the back a little bit. So I was always worrying about, I never had my hair that short. A lot of basketball players my age used to at some point just shave off their hair, like for just to see how it looks and how it feels, and then have all kinds of different haircuts. I never did that. I was always like a guy that wanted to like his hair to like
Sure.
sit in the right way, and you know, and so I never did that. So I didn't know what I would look like with it, you know. And then at some, like I said, I saw that picture and I said, okay, the next day I'm gonna go to the barber shop and tell the guy that I usually go to today I'm gonna cut it off.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I went to like a Turkish barber spot, which is like, you know, we always got the classic barbers in Germany, and then we got the Turkish ones that did the, you know, cutting and stuff. And so I went there and I told my guy, I was like, look, I gotta let it go. We're gonna cut it off today. And then he said, from like his idea was, he said, okay, look, but I would say we cut it like really off on the sides and leave it a little, just a tiny bit longer, like on the top, so it kind of blends into each other a little more and it looks the same. You know, I did that for the first couple of months, and then I just bought like a machine and did it myself and did it all the way off. So, and the thing is, like, I really, that's why that's why that's why I reached out to you, and I thought, okay, like that's why I like your page that much, because it gives people the opportunity to hear from somebody else that actually had the same problem. Like me, for example, I look around and a lot of like, even when I was like 30, right? On the basketball team, when you're 30, you're one of the older guys. Like, I didn't have anybody to talk to about that, you know, or see where it, like I could talk to my dad, but that's like a whole different time. Like, he would tell me how he used to rock long hair and how, you know, I Googled and you'd like, you know, by the way, today, right? I opened YouTube once and type in your channel,
Yeah.
and the next thing that opens on my browser is like a commercial for like hair transplants or whatever.
Yeah.
That's crazy, by the way. But so in the end, you think about all kinds of different things like transplants or whatever. Like shortly before I shaved it off, I actually stumbled like a year earlier or something. I stumbled upon a thing. It was like some kind of powder you can like order in
Hair
the
fibers, I
exact
guess.
color of your hair.
Yeah.
Exactly, in the
Sprinkle.
exact color of your hair. You would kind of like put it in there a little bit, and I used to do that on game days. And then
Oh,
you
so
like,
you did do that? Yeah.
I did do that, but like honestly, maybe for like 3 months or whatever. Like, so I,
Just tried
in
it.
the
Yeah.
end, yeah, I tried it. I
Yeah.
actually think it worked pretty well, to be honest, but I just think it was too late for my purposes. You know what I'm saying? I guess if I would have like found that a couple of years earlier, that could have helped or whatever. Like, oh, I mean, helped is always like a thing, because in the end, I wish I would have just cut it off earlier,
Mm.
like a couple of years earlier. When I see the pictures from when I was like 30 or whatever, like you said, you Googled it and like everybody can see it. Like you're going to find pictures where you see the years where I still had hair and stuff. So I wish I would have just cut it off way earlier.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that, you know, if somebody can tell you that, it's still hard, you know, because it's hard to believe other people. But I guess, you know, I don't know. Like my girlfriend, she was hesitant as well. She was like, I don't know. You want to really cut it off and stuff, you know, like she didn't mean anything bad by it. It's just you're used to somebody, and
Mm.
she used to having hair, you know? So, and then I don't know, it's just a strange thing. And you actually by yourself with it. And that's why, like, I saw your page, and when I saw your page, I already had shaved mine off. So I like, and it just made myself so much easier in everything. Like, because you know, a lot of people, including myself, I used to wear like baseball hats and stuff. I still wear a baseball hat now and then, but now I just wear it because I want to wear one and not because I want to hide something.
Yeah.
And in the end, like you do all kinds of different things, and whatever you do, you basically worrying about it. Like I always worry about whenever like pictures were taken somewhere, I would always worry about that, you know. Sometimes I would like post pictures on my Instagram, but you can look through my Instagram, you will not find a single picture where you see my hair loss. Like you're
No.
gonna find some pictures where I actually still had hair, but the light in a certain picture made it seem like I didn't have any.
Yeah.
And I'd actually like choose these pictures because you couldn't see it and stuff like this, you know?
Yeah.
And you're just so, I don't know. It's like in everything you do, you just have it in the back of your mind. Like it's not present all the time. It's not that it like really,
No, the pictures thing that you
made
said is a good
yeah,
example. You know, are reflecting on a game. Maybe it's been a good game for yourself, and you know you want to be focusing on the things that are, you know, like your performance. Not, oh, is there going to be pictures about that are kind of showing the hair in a bad light or showing that
yeah,
I'm going bald? You know,
yeah,
just little things like that that are just really annoying and always there, right?
eh, all the time.
Mm.
That's the crazy thing. Like wherever you go to a party, you kind of, I don't know, you kind of turn in several ways. You try to like stand with the back to a wall or whatever, like stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Where you like, and now I just think like shaving it off, like of course it was like, you know, strange for a couple of days and strange because like when you meet the people again that know you, that see you for the first time without any hair, you know, of course they're gonna ask and they're gonna look and you know it's different and you feel like, of course in the first couple of days you kind of feel like everybody's looking at you because it's just new, you know. And but in the end, like I said, I would wish for myself to have done it a lot earlier because it like it made my life so much easier just from a mental standpoint, you
Yeah.
know. It's
Massively.
just so the pressure is off. You just shave the pressure right off and it's gone,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, no, massively. What was it, do you think, that held you back for those couple of years? Was the main sort of worry about the head, like you said, the head shape, or was it a combination of a lot of things?
Probably a combination, you know. In the end, like the head shape and also, but the thing is like first of all, I guess you kind of lie to yourself a little bit and make yourself think that it's not as bad as it looks sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So you kind of always think so, yeah, but it, you know, still can't, you know, if I get a fresh cut and you know have the get the sides cut short and whatever, and then it's kind of blend in and it still looks good and I don't have to cut it off and whatever. But um and then also I don't know, like I wouldn't, I guess the honestly, I guess the whole style of a lot of people wearing a beard nowadays, I started wearing mine like thinner than it is right now. A couple of, I don't know, when I was 30 maybe or something. I like this way better with the beard in my face instead of like having no hair at all.
yeah,
Still in the end, and then like I was never the guy, like I had my hair pretty short all the time. So I, you know, just sides pretty short and the top a little longer. But and then like the shorter or the balder I got or the thinner it got, the shorter my haircuts got, kind of, because I
yeah,
tried to hide it with that.
yeah.
But I don't know. Like I never saw myself embracing that. I don't know.
It's when we talk about hiding as well, like you said, when the caps go on and the behaviors, you know, like I was doing the same thing. Like you know, when I was sat in class, when I was out studying, I would sit right at the back like this, you know, head against the wall, so there was no one behind me that could like see what was going on in the back there,
Yeah,
right? And it's like you're trying to hide it from other people, but you're also trying to hide it from yourself, you know, and just trying to like you're trying to put it out of your mind, but all it does is just go to the back of your mind and it just sort of sits there, you know. And whenever you're in an uncomfortable situation, or you know there's pictures or anything, I even remember like if I'm in a restaurant and there's like a massive light above me or something, you know, and I'm thinking like, oh, like can we not sit here, you know, just always little things like that, it will come up, right?
exactly. See, and that's the thing I said. Like the light thing is like that's like what made it so bad in like the basketball arenas because the light is like crazy in there. And then
Yeah,
And that's the moment where they take pictures of you from all kinds of angles and you have no control over it at all. Like you're
Yeah,
just moving on the court and you're turning around and they might take pictures at the stupidest angles and
for
you
real.
cannot do anything about it. And the next day it's going to be in the newspaper.
Yeah. I've got to
So
ask as well, like you said, it's going to be in the newspaper. And we talk about, there's got fans there, teammates. When you did go for it, was there actually, I've got to say, was there at any time where someone asked you about the thinning hair, or any teammates or any? Did you see anything written anywhere where they were saying like, oh, like Michael's clearly going bald, like why doesn't he just shave it off? Or did you ever see anything like that before you kind of went for it?
I don't know if I don't think anybody ever said, why don't you just shave it off? Of course, like a basketball team has like a kind of a special,
Bond and that, yeah,
dynamic
yeah.
in it, so people are going to be,
Make
sometimes they
jokes.
might be pretty harsh with each other as well, like talking smack and stuff like that, which is not a bad thing. It's just guys being by themselves a lot,
Yeah.
So there might be the one or the other pun where somebody might have said, you balding, huh? You know? So, and the thing is, like, people don't really, they say that with a smile on their face and they don't mean anything bad by it. But for me, that used to like sting a little bit,
Hmm.
you know? I would never show that, of course, but it did sting sometimes. And also, this right now, even like, for example, the team I play on right now, a lot of the guys are a lot younger than me. Like, most of the guys are like 22, 21, whatever, sometimes even younger. So, one of the guys, like a couple weeks back, just asked me, "Hey, by the way, why are you actually shaving your hair off? Why do you like wear your hair like that?" Like he didn't even realize that was
Mm.
not fully by choice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he just thought that was my hairstyle
Mm.
that I choose. And the funny thing is, like back then, like I said, a couple weeks back, I was able to like reply to him. Like I actually had to laugh about it, and I could reply to him, "Look, man, because I don't have any fucking hair no more."
Yeah.
So and laugh about it
Yeah.
because it's not a problem for me to talk about it anymore at
Yeah.
all. So and back then, like when somebody would say, "Hey, you balding, huh?" I would say,
Yeah.
"Am I?" So and just that goes to show how like different your whole mind is with it. You know?
Yeah. Massively. You mentioned the psychology aspect, and how you are literally, once you go for it and you kind of make that peace with it, it's a completely different, you're coming from a completely different mindset then, it is, so, there's so many words, isn't there? Like liberating, freeing, but you see all the guys on the Instagram and on the YouTube channel talking about it. And like you said, they got the same kind of experiences before, but and what's great is you kind of all have these same experiences after. It's like, man, it's just so much better on this side when you've made your peace with it, and you just accepted it and you just shaved it off, and you just go with it. And that's really telling, that example there, how before you were worried if someone was going to mention it, or well, I was certainly worried if someone was going to mention it, or if someone did mention it, it's uncomfortable, it's just an uncomfortable situation. But on the other side of it, and now when someone asks you, it's like, it is what it is. That's the best way to almost say it. It is what it is. I'm not trying to hide anything. It's just life, man. This happens,
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I'm so happy that I never really considered any transplants or any whatever. Like there's a lot of, it's crazy how as soon, like I said before, when I opened your YouTube, automatically it will show me like commercials of hair transplant
Yeah.
companies or whatever. And it's crazy, like even nowadays, how as soon as somebody, even looking for other people that had the same problem, what you're gonna do today, you're gonna Google, right? You're gonna like find like search the internet and kind of see where it takes you. And as soon as you do that, there's going to be like a whole waterfall of commercials flowing into your screen that tell you to, I don't know,
Take this,
you
use
know,
this, hide
stick a
this.
hairpiece to your head or like
Yeah.
get a transplant or whatever, all kinds of things that they try to sell nowadays, and they make people believe that this is necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you're going to be bombarded, right, with everything except it's actually okay. You know, you're going to be, all the message you're going to get is like, you got to stop
Exactly.
this. You don't want this. Let me take this problem away from you. Just use this. You'll be
Exactly.
absolutely fine. Rather than, yeah, it might be the harder pill to swallow to kind of suck it up and accept it.
Of
But
course.
that's the longevity, you know, that's the one that's going to take you the furthest, 100%.
And that's the thing also, like, for example, I, of course, at some point I bought the, I don't know, hair fluid that was
Fibers, those
supposed to
things.
stop your
Yeah.
hair loss or whatever.
Oh, you bought some.
Everybody
Yeah.
does things like that,
Yeah.
but in the end, the crazy thing is, like, even for me, and I would say, as an athlete, like, I'm used to playing basketball in front of thousands of people, and people would like come and ask for autographs and stuff. So I'm not a shy person at all. Like, you can't be that. And I'm a confident person. You have to like be confident as a basketball player. Like, or I guess as any kind of athlete, you have to have a lot of confidence to actually be good in what you do. You have to believe you are better than the next guy. So I was a confident guy always, and still it bothered me a lot, which is like the crazy thing. So I can only imagine how much it must bother people that are not as confident. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. All these things you got going on, you know, and like you said, confidence in so many areas. You know, you're tall, athletic, you're doing what you love for a living, right? Making a living out of it. And yet still, yeah, this thing about hair loss comes along, and it is tough to deal with. You know, it is tough. And that's why, dude, I got to thank you so much for you know, coming on and having this conversation. That's like, when before we started off camera, I said, you know, it's just about having a chat, having a conversation about this topic, because with the channel and the Instagram, I wanted to show people, like, hey, there is another side to this, and it's okay. It's more than okay. You know, it's not something that's like horrifically wrong with you. It's so common, because like you said, maybe in your like initial friends group or team or something like that, you know, you might be pressed to find, like, it's not like every single guy is going bald, you know.
Exactly.
I think it's interesting that
And even if he is, it's probably not going to be at the same time.
not at the same
So
time.
there's people where it starts when they are like 23, and there's people where it starts when they are like 38. You know?
Exactly. And also, I forgot to say, it's like a lot of chances are they very well could be, but they're probably hiding it also, you know, or doing what they can to kind of hide it, you
Yeah.
know, or whatever. And that's, yeah, why again I put these conversations out there and share this stuff, because people can relate, you know, people can kind of see, like, oh, hang on a minute, like, I'm not the only one, because it's definitely not. So it's great, dude. I really thank you. It's good now that we got a good collection of people, you know, from all different backgrounds and whatnot, sharing their stories. It's so interesting because it's almost like the same story, but just for different people, and depending on, you know, where you are in the world, how old you are, what you're doing, you can relate more or less to different people, you know. But we're all got the same experience, you know. We're
Yeah.
all gone through the
Yeah.
same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why, like I said, the first time I saw your Instagram page, I thought like, oh my God, this is so great. Like,
Yeah,
I
dude,
would have
thank you.
needed that so much if I would have found that, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is really like a big thing to do for so many people around the globe, because finally somebody is addressing it without, you know, trying to sell you anything that is going to hide it or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not the guy that wants to be famous or anything nowadays. I just thought it could be a cool perspective,
Oh,
a cool,
massively.
cool perspective for people out there to just see that somebody that, like you just said, you know, actually did a couple things that a lot of people aspire to do, being a professional athlete, making, like, earning a living off of their sport, off of their, like, you know, favorite thing to do, basically, and stuff like that. And it still bothered me, you know?
Yeah,
And I think that's a valuable thing to know.
really is.
In the end, nobody else can tell you what the perfect timing is to, like, cut it off or whatever, or shave it off, you know? You gotta find it out for yourself. But it's just important to know for people that, you know, from the outside, especially in the world like today, where like Instagram and like where people, like, you know, the whole world is like made of a lot of people that are trying to show everybody their best sides and hide the bad ones in every aspect of life. Just because somebody on the outside might look more comfortable than you are with yourself doesn't mean he necessarily is. You know, I guess there's a bunch of people that were like at our games or whatever and watching me play and that would like in that second think, oh, I wish I could be him. And during that time, I was worrying about and hoping that nobody would take a picture from right behind me during the exact same time, you know? And so I think everybody should know that a lot of people are not confident and not and like worry about things with their own body, be it hair loss or be it whatever. And nobody can tell you the exact time where you have to like cut it off or shave it off, but just know it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. And it's just, and honestly, I feel like the reaction I get to myself is a lot better since I shaved it off. It's kind of like a statement that you set to the outside world a little bit, where you just tell people, look, I'm fine with myself. I don't have anything to hide. I just embrace it. It's me.